French thing. You got to put some flavor in there. You know?
Okay.
There you go.
That's Bijan. Sitting out front. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
Settle down.
So we want to start here with Louis and Vaughn. This is our first slide. So talk to us about your partnership with Louis Wells and how you two met.
Check. Oh, that's my question.
Yes, that's your question.
I'm still set.
That's okay. Yeah, tell us how you guys met.
Louis and I met. We had both previously worked for a big costumer in Los Angeles named Bill Whitten. He worked there before I did. I came in after him. At that time, he was already had transcended working for Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I met him when I was working with Bill Whitten, and we went to do some work on their stage show, and we met. He said he needed some help, so long story short, once they got on tour again, then I started with the organization, and we became partners on tour with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Like, how did you become a design duo? Like, how did you guys, develop that partnership through Earth, Wind, and Fire?
The situation with Earth, Wind, and Fire, we really started out pretty much managing the wardrobe. We were still affiliated with Bill Whitten out of Los Angeles. Then there was a break in their relationship. And we were put in a position where we had to start making clothing while the tour was ongoing. So we pretty much innovated the concept of having pretty much a costume studio on the road, which became part of the gear, like when the roadies roll out and when the roadies pull up and set up the whole thing for the stage performance. And they would set up a studio for us, and we would be making clothes on the road, and that kind of was something that was a little bit different. Wasn't many people doing that.
So one of the things that you sent me that I was just mesmerized by were these sketches. Can you talk to us about this in particular?
Well, this particular sketch, this was for a video presentation, and the outfit in the middle was, if anybody remember, a dancer, Darcel, back in those days. So it was a real, do you remember Darcel? Yes. It was for her. So we did a more Egyptian kind of a layout, which was pretty much the whole influence of Earth, Wind, and Fire to begin with. A lot of the early work at Bill Whitten was pretty much replicated, but it began to ease up a little bit. So we kind of went back to this for the video.
So before you guys got to Prince, this is what we were.
That's what you were really dealing with.
Yes.
Now that was what you were dealing with. Well, but we hadn't got to. No, we hadn't arrived yet. But and not to disparage it at all, but certainly. There was a lot of work there. A lot of the signature, things were in place. Sylvia Anderson, Andre, sister, was doing a pretty good job. There was a lot of thrift shop sourcing, which we still do now, and which I still do now, and definitely legitimate. But that was the look going in, and a lot of the visual markers that were identified that we were able to expand on.
And a key one being the trench coat. But we're
Key one.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about how you guys elevated it.
Yeah.
So Louis and Vaughn came into Prince's life on the 1999 tour. So we know exactly when that happened because Mr. Terry shared with me, this was the most amazing thing. This is the measurement chart for Prince. Do you remember, like, when you actually wrote this up, or?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I always put the date on it, so it was definitely December 1982. Snowy, out on the road in the snow. It was miserable conditions. I mean, 36 chest, 27 waist, 34 seat. 27 waist. That was like, I know I was 28. We were pretty close in size, so I'd try stuff on, and he would try to slip a jacket of mine or two on. So I hold it, come back with that player. come back with that. You understand? You're getting one, but you're too soon. But 27, that's like 8-9 inches ago. Whew.
So this was during the 1999 tour, and I just wanted to show you this in context. This is actually something from What Did Prince Do This Week? And so you can see that on December the 3rd was when that measurement chart was being made. And so another signature part of Prince's wardrobe were the buttons.
The buttons.
Yes. And can you actually talk to us what we're seeing to the right in the boxes?
Now, to the right, those are still collections of buttons, stuff that I still have, part of Legacy of Archive stuff. And so the buttons were important, and the top buttons with those pearl buttons with all these particular shirts, we must have made dyed buttons in every color, the iteration there is. The buttons down the leg was a particular size. You can see those kind of sorted out a bit, and variations of colors, and then you have some of the specialty buttons that were put together for that. So it was real button haven going on.
Yeah, I love that, button haven.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us about what we're looking here for the seamstress?
And then these are actually the envelopes that you put the patterns in. You see some rough sketches of what the style is that you're working on. The patterns in dotted paper at that time, if they weren't done in a heavy tag manila paper as well.
Talk to us about the color purple.
Well, not that. Well, this is definitely one of the original sketches going into the Purple Rain concept. This is reflective of more of the burnout fabric that we were using at that time. The legs did a little more shearing. So the evolution of it. So when you begin anything, you begin with a base style that someone comes in, even if I was designing for anyone in here or some stylist friends of mine. I see Miss Ya there. She does a lot of people. Miss Elise's back in the background. She does a lot of people. You have to come in and assess who they are. And then you start from there. I can't start from Frank Sinatra and put Sinatra on Prince, so I got to start from Prince. What do I know about you? Now that I see what you have, it's not about changing you out altogether. It's about expanding on that. And one of the things you're going to do is you're going to do with fabrications. The fabrications become more luxurious. The fit becomes more dramatic, which is one of the things. And the whole aura of it is being more romantic. Now, one of the things that Earth, Wind & Fire's management is how we got involved with him. When they were on a hiatus in the 80s, a little breakup for a minute, and while we were hanging around collecting dust, doing nothing, we had a perfectly good studio out there in the complex that was collecting dust, so everyone was like bored when it was time to gear up. Wasn't gearing up for a few years. Why don't you guys go hang out with Prince and see what you can do? And that started with that. So what you were trying to do before that, one of the issues that they had, not an issue they had, but now it's time to work on him. He wanted to be remembered. But in the early days of that, Sex Pistols kind of a look, it's just being outlandish. It's about being offensive. It's about being real rock and roll. Let's tear the speakers up. Let's kick some stuff down. Let's get on TV and, disrespect Dick Clark on his own program and talk to him like I'm crazy, which was crazy, you see. So now we have to grow up and become, a little bit more refined with it. So now you bring in fabrics and things of that nature.
So this is one of my favorite photos of Prince, taken by Richard Avedon.
Yes.
One of the best photographers that has ever lived.
Yes.
And again, you guys take the template of the trench coat.
Yes.
And you're introducing the color purple, and you're elevating it.
Yes.
But then you go beyond that.
Yes.
And can you talk a little bit about, you added bling, to that?
Yeah, bling. But even in the Richard Avedon, like you said, and you're really just, it's only like a year later, but the change. It's like if you look at what was happening before just a year ago and now a year later, if not just for the influence and the camaraderie of all of us together, Louis and I and other factors, now you're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to misbehave, but I'm going to be remembered in another way. And I even like this because this is really just like basic file fabric. It wasn't even, we hadn't even gotten to like, let's really get with this thing, because you can tell with the collar. I can always tell where things are with the collar. That was just the regular stand collar flipped up. We hadn't gotten to Elvis Presley. We hadn't really stretched out on it, but just even settling in to say, hello, yes, how are you? Let's get to know each other. Yes, we did something. And now Purple Rain, now we're beginning to put this thing on steroids, so to speak. We're finna really go all in. And now we're flying right now. Now we're cutting fabric that wasn't meant to be tailored. We're using a whole nother level of everything. I mean, the chest shield with the pyramids studying is on there. We're building the shoulders out for the 1980s look, custom pads happening, and just the texture of the fabric. This is all this eyelash, lurex, pyrex kind of fabric that you don't really want to work with because it's really difficult. And no one tries it. So we begin and we got into a real thing where any fabric that you wouldn't conceivably tailor and work with, we're going to work with that. Mm-hmm. Is what that started. Not by intention, but it just kind of got there. Mm-hmm.
So can you talk a little bit about the dual offices you had? So you're still working you had an office out in L.A.?
Well, we certainly started office out in L.A. We had an office in L.A. We had a studio out in Earth, Wind & Fire's complex that went dead. We did have an office in L.A. And then, of course, we kind of had 2 or 3 studios in Minneapolis before we got to Paisley Park, one iteration after another. And this is when we kind of were changing the guard. This is my partner's brother, Thomas Wells, a pretty good costumer in his own right, if you're out there. What's up, Thomas? You see, but look at that. You see how that coat done turned him into somebody like more? Mm-hmm. And that's not even Tommy's personality. He's a real cool dude. Mm-hmm. But look, he didn't put them glasses on, and he kicked that cock to the side there. The coat did that for him.
That's right. This is a pretty important outfit in the film Purple Rain. Can you talk to us about this?
Yes. Now, this is where we begin to take a little... Warner Brothers had brought in a good costumer that was familiar with doing movies, Marie France, and she always had a softer tone. She would go on to do Under the Cherry Moon more by herself. And then she brought these little romantic touches versus this hard rock and roll thing happening. And the fabric here, which I didn't really like the fabric. It was just something a little bit different. But as it started coming together, as we all worked in collaboration with, Prince, Louis, myself, Marie France, other people involved, and you walk away with some objectives that you don't have to always, agree with, but you still have to produce them. And it turned into this, which was very captivating, very breathtaking. And there it is right there. You can't get a shot better than that. I mean, that's rock and roll Prince right there, you see.
This is actually a different green one. This is not the American Music Awards green one. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I actually included this in the slideshow is that I love this long silhouette. But you actually, going back to the other one, you guys had the short-waisted coat.
Yes,
but
yes.
then you also had these really long coats.
It becomes really long, yes. The length of it, definitely was longer, sleeker, shoulders are bigger. And it just kind of grew out of something. I mean, who tells what the influences are? You get into the meetings and you talk and you kind of kicking things around. You're seeing ideas. He's growing now. By now, he's pretty much like an apprentice designer. Let's just face it. I mean, we're not here honoring an individual that's slow. He's real quick. Mm-hmm. So, he's look over your shoulder, and before you know it, he wants you to take dictation, which in one day he did do that. I'm like, one day after the show, and he bouncing around on the high, can't keep moving, really twitching. I mean, really moving. It's like, you got some paper? I got some paper. You got a pen? I got some pen. I'm handing it to him, and he's looking at me like, no, won't you take dictation? It's like, wait a minute. I'm saying, hold it. What part of the game is this here? I don't take dictation. So I'm learning and growing, and I'm rolling with it. I'm a quick study. It's like, oh, dude really want me to take dictation here, So I'm just start taking dictation. It's like a laundry list of stuff. Like I need a waist bead chain and this and that, and I'm like, I'm taking dictation, but I'm like under my breath, like, yo, dude, play. This ain't what I do. You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm saying to that is now you've learned this and now you can begin to be more instructive, which was fun to watch more so than someone's depending on you. Now you got to come up with every single idea. Now you don't have to because now you got a third partner and a fourth partner involved.
So this is another silhouette I just love from the Purple Rain tour. Can you talk to us a little bit about like this vestel ensemble?
Yeah, this little waistcoat ensemble that kind of snuck its way in. And sometimes when I'm looking at some of this, as there were a lot of moving parts, again, we had the studio in L.A., and sometimes I would be there, sometimes Louis would be there. And so you figure, well, when did this come out? Sometimes I'm looking at stuff. We had a nice studio in Minneapolis with several sewers, and sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, where did this come from? The idea started and the machine goes in. Mm. And that was one of them. And then, of course, the shirt. We started with of course, the ruffles came in with the regular tuck shirt. That was definitely introduced in the early days when they were thrifting, which was a good theme. And you like it. Everybody has it. There's different ways to really go about it. The transition, the call came down. Actually, I think Marie France was saying we need to soften the shirt. She had some ideas. I had some ideas, but I didn't give you those sketches, I had some references to some old Temptation videos where they had some ruffles that was really floating around like that. Mm-hmm. It was the Temps thing. So... Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that psychedelic shack kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So whenever we were in the meetings, everyone's representing what they represented. And I loved working with Warner Brothers Costume because she's French and she came with all this and everything is fine. I can interpret that. But Louis and I, we always go back to, Detroit, with the Pimp Mobile and the Superfly and like, so, you roll your dice, I got mine, That's what I'm saying. So somewhere we're going to come up with something in the middle. That's right. And everything's legitimate. So you be having a hybrid that everybody can take part in. But, I'm representing me. So if I'm not there, then we be looking at something like, Cher Berger in France somewhere. We won't be in Detroit, not Motown. That's what we talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the white ruffle shirt is pretty iconic, but on tour, Prince wore a lot of different colors of the ruffle shirt. So we got black, we got red. Mm-hmm. But what I really love is, the cufflinks and the lace. Yeah, see there. See, I had to pour one out. I had to pour one out just, yeah. I had to do, you see what I'm saying? Go on there. Yeah. See, and I actually had to pull out one of the old Prince shirts, and I was just telling Cam in the back, Prince is strangling me right now. See, DNA is all over me here. I'm wearing the stuff like, hold it, bro. So, but this is in real time, and again, we were already who we were, and we were hanging around town, and it's just interesting to see some of the people that are like in executive capacities now and where they really started. This is one of my favorite. I certainly befriended Shy Ellis and the Ellis family, which is David T.C. Ellis in the High School of Recording Arts back there, and this is young Shy and some other people hanging out. So these are some of the fabrics, like when you started sourcing really amazing fabrics. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, that's the whole thing about the fabric. We were sourcing fabrics that, pretty much was outside of the context of what we were doing before. Now, certainly Earth, Wind & Fire had a lot of different crazy fabrics, but we even went more further than that because this like burnout velvet, and anybody that's a couturier, does couture and doing women's wear stuff. All of this is not tailorable fabric. It's not supposed to really be. It's for something entirely different. But it has the vibrance. It has the texture. It has a dimension. You can get into the burnout. You can get into the jacquards. You can get into the brocades. And you get it in all these crazy colors that you can't you got to buy the fabric and just make it because you can't make sense out of it because you don't know it's going to make sense until it's cut and sewn. But we had that liberty because we had the shop. You got sewers here. We got tailors in L.A. We're there. You're on the payroll. So why not? Just cut it. Now, a lot of things Prince maybe tried on and just didn't ever wear it, so you didn't really see it. So the things that you see more frequently is just a minuscule portion of what was going on every day as you was just knocking out clothing.
So I really wanted to pair these two because it seems like you guys this is how you dressed, and you were sort of bringing Prince into your world with what you were creating for him, and you can see it like black and white with these two images.
Well, I'm glad she said it, because if I'd have said it, y'all think I'm bragging.
That's right.
You understand? So, but now she brought it up. You understand? None of it's out there.
There you go. It's out there now. There you go. There you go.
We was already that guy. You hear what I'm saying? So, yeah. So he just came along for the ride. That's what I'm saying.
This is one of the most iconic outfits that Prince has ever worn. Can you talk to us about this?
Now, this is definitely, and that's something, that's one of my favorites as well. I wish I would have kept that one as a real iconic outfit. I have one similar, but this fabric in itself makes it the coloration. The coloration makes it. I have another one that's iconic. I just thought I'd bring it. Just to give you an idea of the, just to give you an idea of the fabrications. And just, you know, being brocade and everybody was getting stuff, so you had to distinguish who was who. There's always a name of who does what in there, but you're getting with the Elvis Presley collars. By now, it's all worked out. You got the nice rope showed on here. This is a great brocade. I like this purple version of it. And the pants. He wasn't as tall, but it was definitely, the leg was shorter, but the elastic over the years, you lose elasticity, and this drops down with the stirrups in it. So you just cut it. And this is fabric I never would have utilized prior to working with Prince. So, you know, where he takes you is where you really go. But if you'd asked me a year before, then you never could have got that, because that was not in my vocabulary. That was nothing I would think about.
Mr. Terry, can you talk to us about the stirrups at the bottom?
Well, the stirrups are so they can hold down, and certainly Prince, coming from the dance background, he definitely took dance lessons, for sure. And the stirrups going under the high heel shoes, and the shoes in itself. Now, that was something that we innovated, you know, brought into the game as far as taking the shoes. He had that kind of model of shoe that he was wearing with the high heels. And then you kind of like put the fabric on the shoes, or you make shoes in that particular fabric to add length to him from a visual standpoint. And once that took off.
And you guys did that.
We did that, yeah. So he didn't have that. No, he didn't stumble on that. We brought some things. We brought a little something. We did something.
This is amazing.
There it is.
Krista, can you
Yeah, and that's just to share and show how the artist can influence you. Because if he came in and just closed his mouth and say, "Well, give me that," I could never have given him that. I wouldn't even never. It's not in my vocabulary to bring that. So you work your way through it collectively.
So we just talked about how you guys created this one long silhouette from the head to the toe. Yeah. But sometimes, after talking to you, you told me that Prince was the one that was like mismatching like fabrics and things. That wasn't coming from you guys.
That wasn't me at all. No. And he enjoyed and prided himself in that, and would come in and say, "I put this together." You know, and that was it. Yeah.
So talk to us about the iconic feather boa.
Iconic feather boa, you see. Well, the iconic feather boa, which became a thing, the marabou feathers, to add a little bit more flaff, a little bit more movement to it. You can see us using a lot of velvet at that time, and it just pumped up. And it's just you add the feather boa, everything you can. The feather boa just makes it all. Whatever you're wearing, you put the boa on, it just pops out. You see, I can pop out. Matter of fact, let me pop out. Let me pop out. Let me pop out.
That's what we came here for. Right here.
Yeah, look at
Yourself.
I don't know. Yeah, go on, put me on.
There we go.
Put it on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get.
There we go.
Yeah, let me document this here. Go on, yeah. Yeah, give him the money's worth, you understand? Put it in a good place, yeah. Let me. Yeah, we bringing Prince right in here now. He definitely with us now, girl. Yeah, it pins on. You got me? That's all right. All right, am I holding on? All right, I ain't gonna move around. I just need a little bit. Okay, I ain't gonna jump around. Okay, I don't know how she got it on here. It's supposed to go on the.
Where's Robin?
She's supposed to go on the. She's supposed to go on the. She's supposed to go on the doggone. Come on, Robin. Now, Robin, no, she hiding back there. She know I know. What's your girl? Come on. Come on. On the shoulder. Put it on.
All right, well, wait now.
Just slip it on. Just pin it on the shoulder a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too serious. See, this is. There we go. Yeah, go on, pierce the fabric. It's just fabric to me, girl. Come on. I got plenty of this. Am I on there?
Yes.
What y'all think?
Yes, sir.
I'm with it. Am I with it? Am I with it? Here we go. I'm keeping it on. That's right. Come on, don't demote me so quickly. Come on. Not a walk. I don't know. I got to do the walk. I got to do the walk. I got to do the walk with it. I got to do the walk. Huh? You know what I'm saying? When you put the clothes on, then you become a star. You're not a star without the clothes on. You see what I'm saying? And this is what we're talking about here. Right here. That's it. That's it. That's the story. This is how we're doing it. In real time, everybody. Just don't ask me to sing. I can do all the other stuff.
So purple obviously was important for Purple Rain, but red showed up a lot as well on the tour. And when you sent me this particular photo, I was like, oh. So I love these two photos of you and the red. Like, how do you feel about it? Because you actually have on red today.
Well, that's true. And somehow, without thinking about it, that's one of my favorite colors, and it keeps showing up. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of, again, as we were all living in real time, everything wasn't, just music work. You got a 24-hour life. There was socialized after. There was social time after that in Minneapolis. By that time, we were living there. So sometimes we're dressing to go out. Then, next day in the design meeting, I think I like that red. I like that red. Yeah, I like that red you had on. Yeah, get the top of. Y'all know how it's Prince. Come on.
Yes.
And so we just really good. It just comes in different ways.
So one thing that I love about Prince's wardrobe over the years is that there's definitely a narrative thread, and this is, from Purple Rain Tour, but you're still seeing a reference to controversy with the tie, but I know that tie didn't come.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was from Prince becoming the designer, right?
Yes, indeed.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the construction of the pants in particular for all of the acrobatics that Prince had to do?
There was a lot of acrobats, and you really needed some stretch. A lot of complaints he was having, the pants ripping after one performance. So we put a little insert of Lycra into the back crouch inseam, and that gave you some flexibility. You can see he can open up wider. He really had a very limber, and he really was a trained dancer. He actually took lessons, and actually all the Revolution had to take lessons prior to
the Purple Rain.
the Purple Rain, yes.
Yeah. So this is an iconic outfit in the film. Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little bit about your relationship with the sketch artist, Donna Cockrell?
Now, we had a sketch artist, Donna Cockrell. We inherited her from our times in working with Bill Whidden, and she did a lot of sketching for quite a number of artists. And that was necessary for the amount of work that was really going on. I mean, you just sit down and you're doing a lot of artwork every day. You got a lot of moving parts, so you needed that art department. And just look at some of the things she came up with that manifested itself from those sketches and those design sessions. Even, which wasn't a design, but you know. And this is an example and this is one of those definitely examples of Prince interjecting himself as a creative director and a design director, because him and Donna maybe sat down with that, because who was sitting down designing that? So that was just him sitting with the artists, coming up with ideas.
And then More Morris Day, this is a very iconic jacket, but when Mr. Terry sent me these sketches, I told him that I had never seen a man wear his overcoat over a suit, because I grew up in the rural South, and yes.
Listen.
Not in Utah. Not in Utah.
I did. I gave her the talk. You understand?
He gave me the talk.
I gave her the talk.
Yes.
This is standard, player decorum. I mean,
yes. Yes, he schooled
I mean, for years, I never knew what buttoning it up was about. So, culturally.
So this is a pretty iconic outfit for Wendy, because it's in, a part of the poster that came in the Purple Rain album. So can you talk a little bit about this, the one?
The one shoulder situation. This basically is how we would do fittings. And I remember for this, because we did the fitting at this location that they were doing some pre-shoots. And again, by now he's a designer. So it's like, you know what, I kind of like that. Let's just do one sleeve on that. Yeah, and it came up to the one sleeve. So that was just in the fly. That was not intentional. Why fit two sleeves? I only fit one. There's a lot going on. And same thing with this. This is really such a beautiful picture and a wonderful outfit that he looks so romantic and so rich and so, it's just great. Yeah. Now, this is Prince Rogers Nelson's, the fashion designer. This is his sketch.
Yes.
So, now my job security is in jeopardy, because now... So whoever's a boss, be careful what you teach the intern. Don't teach them everything, you understand? You're going to be in trouble. But that's Prince's sketch. And now we come to some real work.
Mr. Terry asked me to put this in. So these are sketches that I did when I was 12 and 13, back in 83, 84. I was very inspired by Louis and Vaughn and actually wanted to become a fashion designer because of them. And I have one more sketch to show, and I'm just doing it and I had models, and I would name them, and they had lives of their own on paper. These are just a few of them.
Bambi.
Yes.
See, now go back. Don't just breeze back. Let them look at this stuff, because when I was talking, let's slow this down. It's not just about me. When we were having dinner and she was showing me a lot more sketches than this, I'm sitting there like, whoa, what? And then she said she was 13 at the time and, just getting vibed off of my work and everything. And I was like taken aback. I mean, I'm heroic, but I'm a real person too. It's like, okay. And I'm sitting there at that moment like, wow, did I really?
Yes.
And she has a lot more sketches in this. And I just say, you need to put some in. I got plenty of room for everybody to show their greatness. I'm just a guy with a little talent, but you were 13 years old. I wasn't drawing like that at 13, I will say, for sure. So she needs an applause.
So you talked about often creating outfits for Prince that he wouldn't wear. So can you talk about these in particular?
Yeah, these are cold, aren't they? You never saw these, yeah. Well, Well, we were going into the continuation of where we left off, and this would have been the continuation. In our minds, in everybody's mind, we were going to do Purple Rain 2. So now we on this route, and I think we could see that now we are progressing from the story, because this is a little bit more of an accomplished artist. Now we're going from Prince to King with the whole thing going on. And there were a lot of sketches in this regard. I only had a few. Some of it's probably around in Lewis's archives or maybe back at Paisley. But we never kind of got to that. Somehow it went another way. But had it gone to Purple Rain 2, then we would have set some different visual trends in a different way. And this is part of that. Because when I look at this cape thing, it's like, oh my God. We fixing to bring the house down with this. We fixing to bring it all down with this. Look, we did what didn't even let it. We couldn't get going with this. Look, who you telling? Yeah.
So this is another outfit that you designed that Prince never wore, and it actually ended up at a thrift shop that someone actually bought the entire ensemble.
Yeah.
But the photo to the left is actually from Mr. Terry's personal archive.
That's we shoot stuff as we were getting it together, and this was never worn. I mean, it presented it. It was an outtake. I mean, it was a nice project. Definitely spent a lot of money, shoes and all of that. I don't know where the outfit and how it got out of the way. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to find different people popping up saying they found an outfit back in their closet somewhere and that I had let them wear. And it's like, hold up, what was I? Was I on dope or something in them days? I was giving away outfits. And I don't know how that ended up where it was, but I didn't have that kind of archiving ideal, because everything he didn't wear should have went right to boxes in archive, and it ended up somewhere in a fire sale somewhere. So I'm mad, and I'm gonna have to take that out on somebody that was there.
This is a very iconic outfit for an iconic night of August 3rd, 1983. And you can see, some of the elements, the short waistcoat. You still have like the spikes on the shoulder. Yeah.
This was a good one. This was more my partner Lewis's influence. Like I say, some things I handled, some things we handled to get collectively, other things he handled individually. But that was definitely a good one. And another one that was it was supposed to be for Purple Rain, and it was in that, but it's different. And just some outtakes of early days, Paisley Park. Me and Lewis and his brother, who had a group as well. Actually, Daryl on the left there had a group, and his group is where Jesse Johnson came from, and actually another Rock Island, Illinois individual was Craig in Maserati. Came from it as well. So Lewis was intimately connected, going a little further back. So,
we love Jerome, so I had to show, yes.
Now, really, I shouldn't show this picture, because every time you see me, I'm supposed to be full up, geared up. But, I got to work too. That's with Lisa rolling through there. You never get a picture on Prince. You can forget that. And in the early days, the first studio, which we did out in St. Louis Park, the first iteration, used to be the studio and the rehearsal hall where they rehearse. So my sewers, in the course of a day, try to keep them sewing, because the time would come in practice, and Jesse would have like a 1,000-foot mic cord walking all over the whole place trying to play, and then Prince would come, and then Vanity would come, and how do you get work done? These people supposed to be sewing, and they over here in the corner practicing, and those are good days.
Talk about the Purple Rain movie premiere.
Well, that was a real gala event in Hollywood on Vine, and we were it was really a lot of fun. You can see I'm always getting choked out by a chick. Jane Kennedy and just all of the dignitaries, Lionel Richie, the Who's Who, What's What. They had definitely did the premiere at the Man's Chinese Theater, where all the premieres were really at. And some of these are just like latent. These are just outtakes of just, times out on the town. Sue Ann, which was one of the first individuals out of the Prince group that got a deal from Warner Brothers as a teenager, did really well. Delisa Davis from Shalamar. Prince had imported Mickey Free to be in Maserati at one time, so he was integrally involved with quite a lot. And here we come to the Purple Wear by Lewis and Vaughn. So now we're
Yes.
at the mall.
Yeah.
We're at the merry-go-round.
Yes.
And no, this was something set up by Warner Brothers, and they presented the idea to Prince, and then we got involved with their executives and came to New York and provided them with some styles. They did their own resourcing and their own distribution, and they kind of took it and ran with it and did it a little bit more convenient, a little bit more affordably, and did a pretty good job and sold a lot of stuff. Sold thousands of jackets and shirts. So.
I got mine on Leadwood.
Oh my! See what I'm saying?
I got my shit on Leadwood.
But you can see how it is back in the day where you put a $39 or $59 item on layaway. You know where we was at back there. I'm telling you.
All right, so I have a clip. Hopefully it will play. We'll see.
Prince's clothing is selling as well as his music, so well that one store is almost out of everything, including something purple. And the Prince apparel just arrived 3 weeks ago.
It's definitely increased business, in the high figures, so we'll put it that way.
Prince clothing is as much a part of Prince as his music. The manager of the Merry-Go-Round Boutique says his store sells the purple wear exclusively, and he thinks the Prince look sells for the same reason Prince music does.
It reaches a wide variety of people. I mean, you got all age groups like it. The clothes are kind of like a unisex clothes. Both sexes are buying it.
Both merchants believe Prince fans will be buying even more records and apparel before the next Prince appearance. Dee Atkinson, Channel 13, Eyewitness News. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that was a real successful. I don't know what you really call it. I see my brother back there with a shirt on, you understand, and the glasses. I see him in the back row there. I think he got a shirt on too. But the tour helped drive the clothing sales because you had a tour promoting the thing, you had hit album, you had merry-go-round. They sold what would be maybe like $1.5 million worth of clothes in today's money. And it was just a juggernaut. We was off and rolling. So we were really gearing up for Purple Rain too. We just didn't get to that. But that leads us to my invitation. We have merchandising downstairs. I got shirts and coats and everything else. We do take credit cards now. No airways.
So I found this article, and so the shirts were selling for $30, and the motorcycle jackets were selling for $80. And actually, you could get the shirt in multiple colors from Merry-Go-Round, just for people who don't know about that. And then they also sold this at Merry-Go-Round, the attached scarf that you could also get. And you can actually see the Merry-Go-Round bags here and the jacket. And when you were looking at these, you told me that they were constructed pretty decently, right?
It was constructed pretty decently. There's definitely some things that I see, the gathering, the angle of the leather, but they really nailed the fabric. And they didn't have the fabric supply, so they had to really produce the fabric themselves.
And these are just some more photos.
And continuation. Yeah. It's a pretty decent jacket for $89.
Yes. And then this is just a fan that had on the jacket and the shirt, so we wanted to include that. And then I'm really into tags. I think it's important to see the purple wear tag inside. And Lewis and Vaughn were actually featured in Newsweek in October 1st, 1984. Do you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. Yes, this came about, and actually, well, there's a lot came about on this here. But Newsweek contacted us through various channels and came to our studio in downtown LA and had a great shoot and a nice talk and hanging out and a little social and there you are. We're in a national magazine getting that princely look.
And in that article, you had a quote, which I thought was amazing. Do you mind reading your own quote?
My own quote was, we're fashion therapists and we want people to break free of the traditional confines. And that's what we were really promoting. I still really promote that.
All right. This is what I really want to talk about.
Uh-oh, here we go.
When I first saw this cover, I was just blown away by this outfit. And one of the things that really stood out to me were the drumsticks. So
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how this outfit came about and how you guys incorporated this is such an amazing, I'm going to go to the next so you can see some of the detail of it. Can you talk about this outfit?
Yeah, she definitely loves this outfit. Actually, she has some sketches of this outfit that she didn't include, so I'm just going to continue to pour on where her talent lies. I looked at the sketches like, wait a minute, did I inspire you? Did we just kind of like, come together in some kind of space and time? But Sheila, which I'm familiar with, the family, having worked with her brothers, with Brothers Johnson and Lionel Richie before, and from the many people that I have worked with in L.A., and the drumsticks was something that we know we really needed. It started one evening. Prince used to live almost at Sunset Sound Studio. So it started one evening. Prince was in there jamming, and Morris was in there on the drums, and Jesse was in the booth with him trying to play guitar, and it was just all becoming one of those little, jam sessions even. And Sheila was just really hanging out with a baseball jacket and some jeans on, and he said, you know what, we're going to make her a star. And take her measurements, and we're going to do something. So we took the measurements on the spot, and started talking about what the needs were, and it just kind of collaborated. So we came up with the idea of softening her because, she is a percussionist, and, that's kind of really that. And then it's like, where do we put the sticks? So the side thing, and of course a little sheer exposure with the lace, and that's a pocket. So you put a pocket down the side, and you wear the drumsticks. So we went glamorous, but we still stayed true to who I am, you see. Glamorous drummer with functionality. I think that worked out rather successful. And we shot that on the studio lot.
So one of the things I just want to point out for all of you who may have the Glamorous Life, you can clearly see Louis and Vaughn on the back of the Glamorous Life vinyl. And one of the things that you see on the cover, as well as the outfit that you designed, is the color teal. So I was wondering, was that you guys, or where does teal come from?
Listen, I can't say because I don't remember having an intention about the teal. It just keep coming up. It was coming up in different sketches. Yeah. And I think, no decision is one decision, but some collective. You got other moving parts involved. You got Marie France helping out. And I think just teal just kind of came through from a graphic standpoint.
And similarly, was Sheila taking a cue from Prince, where this is actually the top from the album, but she's paired them with a different.
Yes. So you keep building on outfits, and this is why we couldn't do this, do the Purple Rain tour, because there was always something coming from the front that was necessary. So it was just nonstop.
This is my second favorite outfit of all time. This Sheila outfit from the Glamorous Life video, but look at the photo to the left.
See, now see. Yes, sir. Yeah, you see me, right? You feel me, right? You understand where I was coming from, man? Okay, yeah, listen, hold on to your girl when we hit the club, player. Okay. But like I was telling individuals, a lot of it just came out from how we were dressing, and it picks up here and there. This is with Tina E's. Actually, she was my studio director. Tina E's comes from a musical family in Minneapolis, Puberty's, D-Train, and all that. As a designer herself, has still a wonderful business in Phoenix, Arizona. Went to see her for a fashion show, and a quick story. We were talking out in the car and talking about astrology and Prince being a Gemini. She said, she's a Gemini. I said, I'm a Gemini. I said, what's your birthday? Oh, she said, 21st of May. I said, mine too. We showed IDs, and it's like, okay, you working for me. That's it. It's just serendipity. And went on to be make a very good contribution to everything that was going on.
And because we're talking about Purple Rain, want to point out the flowers on the floor.
Yes. Oh, you see what's happening? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and the buttons on your pants. That's right.
Well, look, hey, you know, I mean, I picked up a little something from him, see? Listen, you got to get with the program, you know.
So this is a beautiful outfit that you designed for Shelia E's brother, Juan Escovedo. And it's still that teal color coming through. And then since we're also talking about Ice Cream Castle this weekend, talk to us about how you guys designed these looks for this version of the time.
Well, this became just a little bit more refinement. It really was like, let's make suits almost similar to what you were already getting vintage, but the suits would always be a little bit more bigger, whatever it was already there. So what are you going to do? Where are you going to try to take them? I mean, that was it. There was no place to go other than just, of course, embellishing it and adding different accessories. And this was, you know, adding some different players after Jimmy and Terry was moved on to do some other things with Solar. And you put, Paul Peterson and subbed out Jerry Hubbard, and we did it at a castle in Hollywood, and found that nasty yellow Cadillac. It was just greased, you know. They loved it, just greasy.
With the white wall.
Big white walls. That's Detroit. That's Detroit right there. Detroit. Yeah, that pimp rolling down the street. Get your money out. Hey, that's what we're talking about. You've been there. Okay.
All right. So most of us know about Jesse's pink suit from Jesse's debut album. We love Jesse, so obviously we have to talk about the pink suit.
Yeah.
And the pink suit came from?
There we go. Well, you know, every now and then I got a hit. Every now and then.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked for me, brother.
So in addition to working with Jesse on his debut, you also worked with him for Shockadelica, and this is one of my favorite. This one is one of my favorites of all time. Mm-hmm. And so talk to us about this ensemble with the hat, and you got the fringe, but it's like
the hat and the fringe and the whole thing. And see, you know, Jesse had a little bit of extra influence coming from Rock Island, and you know, being formerly in Lewis's brother's band, and Sue Ann recruited him out of Rock Island and brought him into the fold. So we kind of had a side relationship going on. So when he needed something, and he got probably more. Now, we didn't do the time that way because the time didn't need that. But for him, as an outtake from that, being a little bit more slick and a little glitz. Now we're into making hats. And then you're putting the glitz and the fringe on it, which is where he saw himself going, and he carried it so well by having that rock star attitude. And I told you by the time when he would come to rehearse, he must have went and bought the longest mic cord he could mic to put in that mic and walk all around the daggone workroom. And then I'm saying, bro, yeah. You know, and that was his vibe. So you put that in there with that.
All right.
Well, here we go to the costume museum, baby.
There we go. So my jaw dropped when I'm going to show you these images that follow. So this is basically a masquerade ball for Around the World in a Day. And just wait for it.
Okay. So now, masquerade ball, and you like a fashion designer costumer, you know you got to bring something to the party. You see what I'm saying? So we you know, and these were a couple of my sewers. So we all geared up for that. And then here's my studio director, and we brought a model with us. And there's, you know, some acquaintances.
Yes.
You ain't have to say nothing else.
We there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. This is
Okay. This is another very iconic outfit. Yes. Raspberry Beret video. Talk to us about the cloud suit.
Yeah. The cloud suit. This is probably one of my most sought after archive pieces. Only one. It's kind of like that beating one that got away. We love this. sent this out somewhere. I don't know what the artist was that hand painted that. I'm going to recreate that. Sorry, Paisley. I'm going to recreate that because I love this concept. And it was just something about this whole cloud thing that came out of the design concept around the world in the day. You floating in the stars. And how do you do that? The fabric was, horrible to work with. Once it came together, it was just awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
And fantastic.
Yes.
And I didn't even know. I'm just looking at it like, did I do this? I mean, sometimes you just impress yourself as all the collaborative elements come together that you can't raise your hand and say singly, this is me.
Yes.
No, this is us.
There we go.
This is us.
That's right.
Let's just come with it. This is us. And that's one of them, this is us right here.
Yes. So one thing that I find interesting about the cloud suit and the video is that you still, again, see this narrative thread of the ruffled shirt, and we're going into Around the World in a Day. These are extras from the Raspberry Beret video. We're still wearing the Purple Rain ruffles going into Around the World in a Day. And so one of my favorite films is Under the Cherry Moon. I had to beg Mr. Terry to talk about these because I think they're really important. They're important to us as fans. Let's talk about Under the Cherry Moon.
Okay. Well, Under the Cherry Moon, which we all know, you see where I was going with Purple Rain too. So we know that. I didn't have this as my departure, but we go there. We working for somebody that had a different idea. So it became simpler. Now we're becoming simpler. Probably one generation simpler is too soon. But we were going in this direction. It was pretty much more this slick, guy, we're doing this whole movie that's pretty much like, Casablanca with, Marlon Brando and Lauren Bacall, this same kind of thing. Marie France was real instrumental in bringing what this look is about. This wasn't integral to me, so I need someone else to help me with this. This isn't what we were doing before. It came out to be pretty well. A lot of this work was done in our Los Angeles studios at the time. And it was uncomfortable because you was going another direction, and this is kind of like, so this is like less is more type of a thing, and I don't think I was with less is more yet.
Yes, but
Short back and the tail in the front.
Well, yeah,
but we have so much more, and the clock is a ticking. So
Ticking clock.
Yeah, so that's the reason why, Jason.
Yeah.
We do want to see a certain documentary tonight, don't we? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, you're continuing with the silhouette from the head to the toe, and also like seeing these sketches, just and actually seeing the fabrics and color, because obviously we saw the film in black and white. It just brings a whole nother dimension to these, and through these, I kind of thought that maybe you had something to do with the family. And so can you talk to us about...
Well, yes. Once you got into that, and then, of course, Prince got into the iteration of doing the family, and some of the similar pieces, applied. You got Savannah McElroy, you got Wendy's twin sister involved, you got Jelly Bean. Then, of course, Eric leads. St. Paul, yeah.
So did Prince, while you're working on Cherry Moon, you're creating these...
It's in the same feeling, yeah. You're in the same feeling because you pretty much doing the same thing for Jerome that was in the movie.
Yes, exactly.
So you're really not just straining that hard. He's moving fast too, so you can't just sit down, okay, let's just sit down here and do a think tank. Where we going? You got to go there, so why not this?
And again, the reason why I wanted to show this one is it's a pretty iconic outfit in the film, but you can still see threads of Purple Rain, but intertwined with Under Cherry Moon.
It's just a little it's a little transition. You're going somewhere. We fixing to we finna leave Cherry Moon rock and roll, and now we're going into something a little bit more sophisticated. And maybe that was it. Maybe that was just a burnout. He didn't want to tell the second stage of the story in Purple Rain too. But this worked out well. And now we're going to just silhouettes and things that I used to say, just get that to the sewer. You bother me with this here? Come on, man. Let's just cut this off and sew it. I mean, what? What do you need me for?
So I actually added a photo that we didn't talk about before. So I've always wondered about this picture of Vanity in this outfit. And did you ever work with Vanity? Do you know like how she got this?
Well, yes, we did work with Vanity because when we came in with Vanity already installed. That's for sure. We did work with Vanity. However, I don't know how she got that outfit because she wasn't on the scene.
Yes, exactly. So I was wondering, maybe you had some insights.
Well,
Okay.
we did some clothing for her. I don't remember doing that. We did some clothing for her, and we would just always go to her apartment in Beverly Hills. But that one draws a blank. Maybe my,
No worries.
memory.
So this is also another, just one iconic outfit after the other. This is on the cover of Mountains. And so now you've taken the Purple Rain, like short waistcoat, but I'm sure this came from Prince to make it shorter.
Yeah, he definitely did. Because he knew he had them rock hard abs. So, he'd been to the gym, had the weights. He was a small dude, but I wouldn't mess around because he was... He was on. So now he just, now he's just showing off. You see what I'm saying? Let's just get to it. He's just showing off.
But the one thing that I love, about this particular silhouette is that, again, taking sort of the fabrics that you guys began in terms of the different patterns and the paisleys from Purple Rain, but still transitioning into Parade, I think it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, it was a trend. Now, listen, now he's leading the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's definitely creative director. So you're surprised where you're going now.
Mm-hmm.
So you come in for one stage, you're apprentice over the years, now you're taking over, and now you're showing where you really want to go. So this is clearly him.
So the next thing I want to talk about is an outfit from the Girls and Boys video. And you designed this dress for Susanna.
The dress for Susanna, yeah.
So if you
So
know
just really just that basic, corset fit dress for Susanna. I mean, she had been around. I mean, her and Prince had a friendship, and we, been out on dinners together, this and that. So this was what she liked. So it wasn't really that challenging. She wanted something simple.
So next, what I wanted to talk about is how the patterns that you guys developed for Prince and subsequent designers sort of pulled from your palette.
Yes. This is a modified style, done wonderfully, of the butt out for MTV. In this, the butt is not really out because she put prosthetics in there. I mean, remember, he was only 34 behind. So she gave him now that trend that everybody was getting the butt enlargements and all of that. Trend started right here because, you see, because he's 34 and he was a little short on behind, but we did it differently. It still worked out fine, but I like Stacia Lang's version of it. This is what we did for him, which really was just taking the lining out of the back of the lace pants. This was his outfit that he gave to Devin, which for those who have history, she was a great model and fantastic young lady herself. But to substantiate that we was there first, this was one of the designs and sketches that we were working with the butt out. His idea wasn't my idea. I don't be going around trying to figure out how to put no butts out on design. Now, I mean, I'm going to give him the credit. He ain't here to back it, just deny it, but I can say that was me, but I wasn't even thinking about it. It's like, what? You going to put the what out? Okay. Let's do it. So we already had the idea, and it just kept, growing, and then Stacia took it to all the way, and that was great. Good for her.
So this is actually the end of our slideshow, and I'm going to see if there are any questions from the Mentimeter. Thank you. Please give Mr. Terry a hand.
Oh, wow. That's short. We could keep going and going and going. We got so many things, but we edited down. But that was great. I'm as energetic about the slide presentation that she put together that brought it back to me visually in the way that she did that I would not have. I just have sketches. I just have ideas and things, but she revived it for me, so I definitely have to compliment her on her production skills to make it what it is for me. Yeah. You make it fun for me to talk this. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So